Hi besties, you're welcome to my channel. This is Emma Does Ties. In today's video we're going to be making this A-line gown with drawstring and pockets. If you're seeing this for the first time, you are welcome. Do so to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on the post notification to get notifications anytime I post new video.
I'll be making use of 1 yard each of 2 Ankara fabrics. I will be folding my fabrics into 2 using my hip measurements divided by 4 plus 6. So right now I'm measuring the length of my gown, which is 39 inches plus 1, making it 14 inches. After cutting out the first fabrics, I've gone ahead and used it to cut out this second fabric that you are seeing right now. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to place the 2 fabrics together like this. Mind you, the 2 fabrics are on fold. I will just draw a straight line across that will serve as my starting line. And when I'm done doing that, I will measure 1 inch, as you can see, all the way down. The 1 inch I'm marking now will be used for our drawstring. So right now I'll go ahead and join the points I've marked out together. So I'll just draw a straight line across all the way down. So this is our starting line, and all the measurements I'm going to be taking will be towards this direction you see my hand move to. So I'll mark out my back measurement divided by 2. I've marked it out. Then I'll go ahead and mark out the sleeve I want my top to reach, which is 6 inches for the sleeve. If you want yours to be more than that, you can use any measurement of your choice. So right now, from my sleeve measurements, I'll go down by 1 inch. For my neckline, I'll go in by 3 inches. I'll mark it out. And for the depth of my neckline, I'll go down by 1 inch and mark it out. So when I'm done, I will join my neckline together with my armhole, as you can see. Right now, I'll just go ahead and use my cuff to cuff my neckline. So from my shoulder slope, I'll go down by 8 inches. That will serve as my armhole. It all depends on the size. If you are a bigger size, you can go down by 9 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark my hip measurements. When I'm done marking my hip measurements, I'll draw a straight line across my hip measurements. So right now guys, from the shoulder slope, I'll go ahead and mark out my bust point, which is 10 inches, and I'll go ahead and draw a straight line across the 10 inches that I've marked out. So on the hip line, I'll measure my hip measurement divided by 4, and when I'm done doing that, I will add extra 3 inches to it. The actual measurements I marked out on my hip line, then I'll go over also to my breast point line and I'll mark it out exactly. So after that, I'll go ahead and cuff my armhole to my bust point. Then I'll draw a straight line across to my hip line, as you can see. Then I will extend the line all the way down the length of my gown. After marking it out, I'll go ahead and cut it out. So guys, I've cut it out here, and as you can see, I didn't cut directly on the chalk, and I've gone to divide the fabrics into 2, each of the fabrics into 2. So right now I'll go ahead and mark out the wrong side of my fabrics so that I will not get confused. So I'll pick one of the fabric each, then I'll go ahead and place it on each other. So when I'm done doing that, this will now be my front piece. So I'll go ahead and mark out my front neckline. I'll measure 8 inches for my neckline. Then I'll go ahead and fold my fabrics in like this. Then after that, I'll use my ruler to mark out the inches, 8 inches I've measured out. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the front neckline. So guys, this is what the front piece will look like when we are done with the neckline. So the next thing now is for me to stitch down the 1 inch I left earlier on for drawstring casing. So after stitching it down, this is what it looks like. So I will go over and turn it to the wrong side. Then I'll use my steaming iron to iron the parts that I've stitched all the way down. And this is what I have when I stitch it with my iron. Then I'll fold it half inch in like this, and I'll stitch it all the way down. I'll fold the second one to half inch, and I'll fold it again before stitching it all the way down. So guys, for the down part, you first of all stitch the down part of your fabric before stitching it all the way down, so that you get the casing for your drawstring. I've gone ahead to cut the long piece of these two fabrics, and it is 2 inches wide, as you can see. Then I'll fold it in like this in form of bias. I'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch it down to make a long rope for our drawstring. So right now our rope is ready. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to put the rope inside the case that we made earlier on. So I'll take one of the fabrics and I'll use my pin I'll match it with the exact fabrics. Then I'll use my pin to put the rope inside the exact fabrics. The two ropes are already inside the fabrics here, so I'll just go ahead and stitch the upper part of my gown here. So guys, this is the effect of the drawstring. I also cut these two pieces that I'll be using for my pocket, and it is 8 inches long and 8 inches wide. And for this tiny rope that will serve as gathers on my pocket, I measured the pocket that I cut out and I multiplied it by 3. I got 20 all the way around my pocket, and I used 60 to cut out my rope. When I multiply 20 by 3, it gives me 60. For the depth of the rope, I used 2 inches to cut it out. As you can see guys, I've gone ahead to stitch my pocket at the upper part here. Then I've also used my iron to iron my pocket. I iron half an inch round it on both sides and on the down part. As you can see, I've done that for both pockets. So here I already made a gathers on the long rope that I cut out earlier on. I stitched the sides on both sides. Then I go ahead and stitch one of the longer parts before making gathers all over the long rope. I've done the same thing to the second rope. So I'll now take the front piece of my gown, as you can see. Then I'll measure to the length where I want my pocket to start from. So I'll mark out my hip measurement on both fabrics. So I'll place my pocket on the fabrics, and I'll make sure that I'm not placing the same exact pattern of fabrics on each other. I will interchange it just like the way you are seeing me. So when I'm done placing it like this, I'll go ahead and measure the distance I want the pocket to be from the center. So I'll mark out 2 inches each from the center. As you can see, I'm marking out 2 inches each on both sides from the pocket. So now I'll use safety pin to pin the pocket to the fabric, so that when stitching it will not be moving around. So now I'll place my gathers underneath my pocket, and I'll use my sewing machine to stitch it down. It is so simple guys. I'll just place my gathers underneath my pocket like this, and I'll use my sewing machine to stitch it down. So I'll be using my sewing machine to stitch it down. Just pay full attention. It is something that is not difficult. Just watch as I'll be doing it now. So I've fixed the two pockets, and this is how it came out. So nice. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to join the shoulders. I've already placed the back piece on the front piece, and I'll just go ahead to the sewing machine and stitch both shoulders. This is what it looks like after I joined the both shoulders. So I'll just use this cutting bias
to tape the neckline of both the front piece and the back piece. I will start stitching with bias from the starting point where my hand is touching here, then I'll take it round and it will end also at that starting point. This is what I have after I turn the neck area out with bias. This is the right side of my fabric, looking so neat and clean after I've used my cutting bias to turn the neck area out. So for my sleeve, I will fold my sleeve in like this. As you can see, I'll fold it in with 1/2 inch, then I'll fold it in again and stitch it down. I'll do exactly for the second sleeve. So guys, when I'm done stitching the sleeve, I'll just go ahead and mark out 1.5 inches on both sides, and I'll use my sewing machine to stitch it down. Right now the gown is ready. If you watch it to this part, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comment section if you'll be trying out this drawstring gown. I really love the drawstring effect on the gown.